Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hello, Dave. Howard from Marin County. Today, I'm going to sing the praises of Shedeur. I think they should just keep Shedeur, and I think we should have new people on our line, a new receiver. Also, I think the defense needs to be fixed. You need to replace Malik Collins, maybe someone in the back end, so you don't have what happened today with Mr. Tony Pollard. Thanks a lot. Great show. Bye.
As always, appreciate all of the voicemails. Spencer, when you look at it, we don't know about Shedeur. We've talked about that. The defense, it was bad. It was a bad game. Let's chalk it up to that. They've been so good and they're young. Collins would love to have him back. Hopefully he can get back, and we'll see. What do you think about the future of the quarterback, though? I wouldn't combine the picks, I don't think. I'd be more inclined to bring in a veteran for a year, unless you really fall in love with one of the quarterbacks in the draft process.
Yeah, the drafting one is all going to come down to obviously where the Browns land in this order. Yesterday maybe helped that cause because the Titans get another win. They're closer to you now. And maybe if they get one more, you leapfrog them to get up to at least. I think right now the Browns would be picking third. They would be up to 2. The problem is going to be the Raiders, who the Titans don't need a quarterback, so the Titans are ahead of you. That's an easy team to potentially trade with if you needed to. But the Raiders are the one that's going to be complicated because you have a win over them. So they basically need to win twice in these last 4 weeks for you to leapfrog them. Otherwise, you're going to have some competition. And so if push comes to shove and you're picking second again, and the Raiders are picking first, and they're like, well, we have rights to whatever quarterback we want. You don't settle for the guy that you think is not as good just because you feel like you need a quarterback. So it's going to create this interesting situation. Obviously, I hope that Shedeur can sort of provide a guiding light there and play well enough that they're like, we don't think we need to do this, but. There's so many things that intersect with each other when we talk about the quarterback position, because on one hand, I'm like, listen, Shedeur could be the guy. On the other hand, I'm like, if a new regime comes in, they could be saying, let's just get a bridge quarterback and we'll draft our guy in 2027. This regime, though, also, they don't have a lot of time to not find that quarterback. So if it's not Shedeur Sanders, is their hand going to be forced to sort of go to the draft and find that guy or do whatever it takes at least to get that guy, even though they're going to have other needs to fill on the offensive side of the football? So there's a lot kind of at stake. There's a lot to consider, and all these decisions kind of intersect with each other and impact each other. I'm curious to see how it all shakes out. I guess my hope is that Shedeur plays well enough that he can kind of give you an option for next year, that you don't feel like you're pressed to draft a guy. But if you're drafted number 1 overall, I think it's going to be tempting no matter what to take a quarterback, and if you fall in love with one of these guys, if you think Fernando Mendoza is it or whatever. I think that ultimately could be where they find that guy if they're still not necessarily sold on Shedeur when this is all said and done.
Yeah, it depends on who you. I mean, if Mendoza is your number 1 quarterback and he's sitting there when you pick, you probably have to take him, because you're not going to get to take your number 1 quarterback very often. At least I hope you're not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that was the situation the Browns found themselves in this year, right? Like, they were drafting second, so if they really liked Cam Ward, they were never going to have an opportunity to draft him because the Titans were not moving. So, and that obviously then played out with them trading back and taking Mason Graham and not forcing the issue on the quarterback thing. But if it's your guy and he's there, and everyone will have their opinions on whether or not they like Fernando Mendoza, if Dante Moore comes out, whether or not they like Dante Moore, what they see, what they don't see, if they should wait till 2027 because apparently that year's class is going to be better. We did the same conversation last year, right? 2026, that's the year. So I'm sure we'll talk in circles about these things. But if the Browns evaluate him and they decide this is our guy, you're right. You're not going to be in that position often to draft that quarterback. So you're going to have to pull the trigger if you think that he's it. Again, unless you're sold otherwise that Shedeur plays so well that you're just like, never mind, we got our guy. But I think that's going to be sort of a lofty thing for him to sort of overcome here in just 4 weeks' time, to prove that to the Browns and completely talk them out of not taking a quarterback if they're sitting there at number 1.